All right, welcome everybody to our June Masterclass. Now we call them Wisdom to Wealth class. It's called Designed for Alignment, Creating a Life and Business That Feels Like You. And I feel like this is such an important part of who we all are as soul professionals, right? It's what I talk about most is showing up as yourself authentically all the time, and then designing your business around your lifestyle and who you are, right? Soul professional is the essence of all of that. So hopefully if you're here, you want to be in alignment. If you're not in alignment, lately I've been talking a lot about coherence, and we'll talk about that at the end, but we first got to go into alignment. And for me, alignment means knowing the direction that you're going in, knowing your core values, knowing how you really want your life and business and how to show up so it's easy for you. That to me is alignment. People ask me all the time, what does alignment mean? It means that you are showing up as yourself authentically. It feels good. I think that's the most part. If it doesn't feel good, then you're not in alignment, right? If you're not showing up and being who you are and loving it and excitement, you're not in alignment. All right. And I can begin a little bit with my own story. For those of you that know me, I came out of the not-for-profit world. That was more of my corporate experience. A lot of people that come here to the soul professional world come out of the corporate world. And it's okay if you don't, but most people do. And despite my years in business and helping people and my MBA and all of my stuff, everything still didn't always feel like it was in alignment until my very last job I had before I created this company. I was the CEO of an organic farming organization. And it was there that I started to meet my people. And that's when I started to realize, ooh, I think I've been off all of these years, right? I think something wasn't right, but it wasn't until it felt right that I knew I was off, if that makes sense, right? Because I just kept doing what I was taught to do, right? You show up, you work from 9 to 5, you push and you grind. And I did all the things. I was a mom and I was doing it all, and I was exhausted. And when I had this last job, I finally started meeting other people that were eating organically, but they happened to also have this spiritual nature about them because they were keeping their bodies clean. They believed in alternative medicine and sound healing. And when I started to have those conversations, that's when my world started to open up. And I started to feel like, oh, I get it now, right? And for me, it was also taking the time for myself, like going back to the gym. I started doing triathlons, and I started creating space for myself. I started to let my hair go curly because I was blowing it out because that's what everybody did. Nobody had curly hair. I just started blowing it out. And then I was like, well, I don't really have to, right? Maybe I'm just me. And now you can see I just let my gray come out. I don't color it anymore, right? It was, how do I get out of my suits, right? And start to dress, which was actually harder than you think for me. Because I had always been like, this is who a professional is, and you're not going to be respected unless you do it. And so that was my story of starting to get into alignment. And then, I created this whole thing. But alignment is starting to actually be you in both your professional world and your personal life. That's alignment. When you can show up the same way, if you still feel like you're hiding a piece of yourself, or in certain crowds you don't talk about this part, that you're not in alignment, if that makes sense. And that's where a lot of people find the resistance. So I know when I started this company, which was the Natural Life Business Partnership, which is still our parent company today, people would show up at our coffee clubs and be like, oh, I've never told anybody this, but, I believe in this, I believe in that, I'm a little psychic, I'm a medium, I'm all the things, right? But I don't say anything about it. And that's how I knew I actually had something. I'm like, oh, I get it, right? So alignment is creating a business and life that is so authentic to you that maybe those lines are blurred, and that's okay. But you're showing up with you all the time. And my father used to say, if you won the lottery today, would you still get up and do your business tomorrow? Because when you say, yeah, I totally would, that means money's not your motivator. It's really in alignment with who you are. You enjoy your work. And that's when I said when you blur those lines because you really just enjoy your work, that's when you're in alignment. There are some core values in there for you. So that's alignment. It's not forced. You're not exhausted from doing it. And even today, it happens to me all the time, right? When you feel a little disconnected or I have to do all of these things so I can just be. That happened to me before I took my vacation. I had to do and do and do and do and set up and set up and set up. And I was like, I'm exhausted. I hate this part of it. But it was so I could, go on vacation. Sometimes you're in those pushes, but you see the light at the end of the tunnel. If you're doing it consistently and not getting that break, something is off. It's like driving a car with a flat tire, right? It doesn't feel good. You're still getting to where you're going, but it's not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for the car. So you feel a little bit out of alignment. That's what it is, right? So, has anyone ever looked at your life and thought, well, on paper, everything looks really good. So why doesn't it actually feel like me? Has anyone ever felt like that? Like on paper, or I sound really good. My marketing's great. My website is fabulous. My programs are excellent. But it doesn't really feel good to me. Has anyone ever had that happen? Anyone? No? Everyone feels perfect? Well, a lot of times that's alignment, right? You didn't set something up. Um, so I have a poll that I want you to. I'm going to go through all the A through E's, and I want you to tell me in the chat which best describes where you are right now. All right. So which best describes where you are right now? A, I am successful but exhausted. B, I'm rebuilding after a big life change. C, I know I'm meant for something bigger. D, I have lots of ideas but little clarity. Or E, my business no longer feels aligned to where I am. Put that in the chat. And if you want, I can say that again or put that in again. It's okay to be more than one too, because sometimes you're in between those stages. I see a B, lots of C's, and Lynn, B, C, D, N, E. Perfect. Lots of C's. You've all said C, which means I know I'm meant for bigger things, which is actually a big indicator that I always use when I talk about like what I do. I was like, I work with people that know they're meant for bigger things, just as a clarity thing. So you're in the right space. I think we all know we're meant for bigger things or we wouldn't be here, right? And I think entrepreneurship is really about knowing that you're meant for bigger things. E, someone just asked what E was. My business no longer feels in alignment or feels aligned. And that's okay, because as you grow, you will become out of alignment again. That's part of growth. And it's really, really important to recognize that. We're going to talk about that a little bit as well. Think of it, I'm trying to think of an analogy for it. You are not the same person you were when you created your business. Say you're doing a program. I had my business accelerator. It was my signature program for, I don't know, two years, and I did it cohorts, and I actually loved it, and I made a lot of money. And then I started to not sell it out as much as I did. And then it started to become almost like resistance because I felt like I had to sell, or I used to just open it and people came in and it was easy. And then I was like, maybe I'm growing out of this. Maybe I should just take a step back and not do it so much. So I don't think I've run it in like I don't know if it's been a full year yet, but I stopped. And once in a while, I'm like, should I just run it once a year? Because I actually really loved it and I met wonderful people, but I'm kind of doing the other things now. So that's part of alignment, right? You grow, and then some of the programs that you designed no longer fit who you've become. So part of alignment is just letting things go. So I want to talk a little bit about what alignment actually is. Most people think it's finding your purpose, following your passion, positive thinking. Instead, it's more of congruence, right? When who you are matches how you live, how you lead, how you make decisions, how you earn your money, how you serve others in the world, how you market your business. That's a big one, right? Because we'll talk about that too. How you market your business, how you spend your time, right? By time, like I actually put in my calendar 3 days a week that I start late because I go to the gym in the morning, right? That makes me feel better, makes me show up better. So how you spend your time, misalignment creates friction. So it doesn't really feel good, or I'm pushing too much, or I'm tired when I show up, or I come to my desk and I really don't want to be here, right? It's usually not because the universe is punishing you. It's because you are constantly working against yourself or the model that you've designed. Something feels off. So it's not like fixing your marketing. That's what I hear more than anything. Well, if I just got more marketing or just more people saw me, that would fix everything. More people buying my stuff, that would fix everything. It might fix something for a very short time, but it's not actually fixing everything. Does that make sense? A lot of people push and go marketing, and I'm always like, marketing is not going to fix a broken program, right? Or if the program isn't aligned with who you are. And a lot of times alignment is also your core values, right? What do you believe in? How do you want to show up and help people? I think for a very long time, schools, that's why I used to be an MBA professor and I stepped down because I felt that we weren't actually teaching students what they need for today's world. We were still teaching the same stuff I learned in the 90s. And I was like, these people are not going to be CEOs of big corporations like we were always led to believe that we would all be. And you know, when you go through, I went through the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s where everything was around greed, right? It was around stuff and status symbols and cars and houses. And we don't live really in that world anymore. We also live in a very global world, right? So maybe for you, it's not working 9 to 5. Maybe it's working 2 days a week, right? For me, I start my Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I start very late because I go to the gym. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, I work very long days because I'm international, and that's usually where I have my evening appointments, sometimes run that way, because that's what feels good and in alignment with me, right? If some people want to have Wednesday off because that's how it works, that's fine. You don't have to do what you were told to do. There's no such thing as a 9 to 5, especially when you're an entrepreneur. We made that shit up, right? You don't have to work 8 hours a week. Actually, 6 is your most, 6 a day is most productive. Between 5 and 6 hours a day is where you're most productive. So by the time you're working those extra 2 or 3 hours, you're really not productive. You're just putting in time, right? We were led to believe something that's not true. And if it doesn't feel good, why are we doing it? It's just like if you post every single day, that's what works. But if it doesn't feel good or you're making AIs doing all your posting for you, that's not in alignment. You're better off just making a really good post that people are interacting with, right? That's more around you, telling your own story, especially now, because I think the world has changed a bit and all the tactics that used to work no longer work. Does that make sense? Is anyone figuring that out or seeing that, right? What used to work no longer works as people are looking for different things right now. And I feel like many people are looking for the energy and they're matching frequencies with people. It's not the words that you're saying So it's not the post that you're doing, it's how you're showing up in the world. And I think more and more, it's who you're meeting and the energy exchange. That's why for us, we're going back to in person. We're still doing online, but we're also doing in person because it's really the energy exchange that I think people want to start to feel and see right now. All right, I have a 10-minute exercise. If you will need paper and pen for this. So I just want to complete some prompts just to get you thinking, just to get some stuff moving up there. These are just prompts. Does everyone have paper and pen? Awesome. So I just want you to complete these sentences. I don't want you to stop yourself. I don't want you to overthink it. I don't, just write the first thing that comes to mind as I'm saying the sentence. First one, I feel most like myself when. The second one, people naturally come to me for. Third one, I lose energy when.
Sorry, could you go a little slower, just a little slower?
Sure. Where I'll go back. So the first one was I feel most like myself when. Does everyone have that one? The second one is people naturally come to me for. You're just ending the sentence, so a few words, no more than 3 or 4 words. The next one, I lose energy when. All right, now we're going to a new one. I secretly wish I could stop. Next one. I wish my business had more. The last one's a question. What have I outgrown? All right, do we have all of those? You guys can share if you'd like. I'm going to just go through some of my own. And then I want you to share too, if you feel open to it. The first one, I feel most like myself when, you can also use the chat if you want to do that, right? You can say when I'm with clients, when I'm outside, when, whatever that looks like for you.
A question. Is it possible to have just a minute or two to answer the questions without hearing yours?
Yeah, do you want to go
Yeah, like
around?
no, I mean I wrote down the questions, but I need to fill them out.
Oh,
So
This
yeah,
was
so
very fast.
yeah, yeah. So
Minutes.
could you give us a few minutes
yes.
to actually go
Yes.
through and answer the questions? Because
Yeah,
I
I
don't want to
thought,
get
yeah,
yeah.
I just wanted you to write down the answers. So it came from here.
Oh, I just had time to just write down the questions because of how quick they were. So I still have to go back
Okay.
and answer them. Okay. Yeah, I
I
just
will
need a couple
I will
minutes.
also put them in the chat for you. You can just look up if you have them. All right, everyone close to being done? I got two looking up.
I need just another minute. Yeah.
Okay. All right, if you guys are ready, just want to start. I can't find the pause button anymore on Zoom. So for all of you that are watching this on video, I hope you'll find us. So I want to preface by saying these questions that I just put out there are the ones that you should be building your business around. Because when you know the answers to these, you can build a lifestyle business. Does that make sense? So for the first one, and if anyone wants to share, I'd love to hear. I feel if there's any volunteers, does anyone want to volunteer to go through all of them? Go ahead, Lance. Okay. All right.
Happy to share. All right.
All right. I feel most like myself when?
I am a theater person and now I've been a mom for 3 years. So after I get to go to a show and I'm like making people laugh in the lobby and like super like energized and being hilarious and like kind of on.
So on stage. Nice.
Like after, like even if I'm not on stage, like if I'm on stage in the lobby after the show that I've watched. Like with the people talking. Like I'm like doing a little post-show show. Like
I love that.
if I haven't been in the show, I'll just be like, your show was great. And like, it's just, especially because I've been a mom and just at home, that part of me being on feels so like, wow, I remember that part of me.
Oh, beautiful. How about the next one? People naturally come to me for.
Support, care, compassion, and direction.
Oh, I love that. I lose energy when.
I have to do red tape things, minutia, tax related, multi spreadsheet oriented.
Okay.
Or when I have to do too many things that have different, like I call it code switching for like tasks or projects where I have to go from like doing taxes to being on a client call to doing an audition to momming to that, then I just get like,
Okay. The next one. I secretly wish I could stop.
I call it trying to get clients in the wild. Like the way that I've sort of been trained up is like clients are everywhere. Just talk, share, see where they are, and slowly, it might be they might be the right match, and it totally can be the right match. But I know that when I go into I need a client, then I go into weird. I feel weird and salesy in the moment instead of just being like, she's a mom at the park, just talk to her. It can be both, but how I feel about it is changing.
Oh, very nice. I love that. I wish my business had more.
Weekly routines or like groups that just were at certain times so I could show up and work a little bit more structure in that.
Oh, I love that. And what have I outgrown?
This one I was like, is it that I've outgrown like really like higher fees or what would be called like working with people's objections or any sort of trying to convince people and I never feel like I have convinced somebody, but I have held space to be like, what would be keeping you back from doing this? And maybe I'm at a place where I just want people to just say yes. And maybe that's a smaller fee, shorter term, or I don't know. Maybe it's strong fees that people are like, yeah, of course. I don't know.
And just so everyone knows, what is your business?
Oh, I do life, business, and mindset coaching. It's called work of art coaching. Generally, I'm working with creatives and professionals and parents, but really anybody who's ready to up level or wants to kind of thriving from the inside out, all that kind of stuff. So
I love
I'm
it.
with you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah.
Judy, you wanted to do the same? Judy Kane.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I feel most like myself when,
I'm with clients.
ooh, that's a nice one. People naturally come to me for,
Clarity.
I lose energy when,
I'm with negative people.
very good. I secretly wish I could stop.
I couldn't think of something for this.
Good. That means it's all in alignment, which is good for an alignment coach.
It is.
That's awesome. I wish my business had more.
Clients.
Yeah, everyone says that, right? What have I outgrown?
Most shoulds.
Oh, good answer. Very good answer. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Karen, do you want to share or no? You don't have to. You're on mute if you want to share your. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I can share.
Okay. I feel most like myself when.
So it's like I came up with a couple words for each, but outside, animals, and non-competitive, cooperative
Excellent.
relationships.
Awesome. People naturally come to me for.
Um, Info about health, um, animals, for like overall calming and organizing.
Awesome. I lose energy
When there's like competitiveness, but like unnecessary competitiveness in a
Okay.
dysfunctional environment. So yeah, I'm kind of coming out of that from the corporate world.
Okay.
No energy.
I secretly wish I could stop.
Oh, corporate life, and also just being on the computer a lot. I'm in the midst of uh, a transition, but I wasn't prepared to transition. So I feel like I need to, well, financially, I still need to look for working for, a company for benefits and things like that. But yeah.
All right. I wish my business had more.
At this point, readiness. I just wish it was more ready. Like
Ready.
I've had some ideas, and it's actually several. Um, I guess it would be part-time entrepreneur
Okay.
businesses, but yeah.
And what have you outgrown?
I've outgrown dysfunction. I just like corporate dysfunction. I just don't have the energy to
That's good.
deal with that anymore. And I
Yeah.
want to create an environment that does not have any of that.
Yeah. Knowing what you don't want is really important, right? Because those are non-negotiables, right? When they show up, you're usually in resistance. So if you're doing, well, I'll just do it for a little while, that's coming from a place of scarcity or resistance, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't feel good. So knowing what you don't want is really important as well.
Yeah, and it gives like a visceral feeling. Like this one interview I had, it's like, whoa, I don't want to be
That's good. I
in the
don't want
energy
that.
of that,
Good.
director. Like,
Good for
oh,
you.
I could barely get through the interview. I knew I wouldn't want to work for that person.
Well, good for you. Thank you for sharing. Judy Holt, do you want to go through yours? I don't know if you're doing stuff. All right. So I just want to talk a little bit about Oh, there you are. Do you want to
I
go through
will.
yours?
Sorry.
No
Sorry. I
problem.
was just outside working and I was trying to multitask, which obviously I shouldn't be doing.
Oh,
And I heard you say that, but I'm listening and I did my homework, Camille.
okay. I
Um,
feel most like
I love this.
myself when.
I love this exercise. I'm in nature,
Mhm.
connected with people I resonate with.
Terrific. People naturally come to me for.
Connection, conversation, health tips, compassion and friendship.
I love that. Beautiful. I lose energy when.
I'm overextended, stressed, too much going on, multitasking, sucked into the black hole of social media. Let's be honest, it's a black hole.
I love that. I secretly wish I could stop.
Yeah, here we go. Wasting time scrolling and being distracted. I think that
Okay.
is a key thing for me is distraction, but just and being too salesy in my business. I find sometimes I'm in the health and wellness space, and I find sometimes I feel like my languaging is too salesy. So I want to be
Okay.
more authentic and just more, I don't know, just relatable,
All right.
vulnerable.
Um,
I wish my business had more
I wish my
creativity and
business.
fun.
What was your answer?
Creativity and fun.
Fun. Fun's a big one.
Um, Yeah, more leaders on my team and, just the growth and more clients. I mean, everybody wants that, but I just think that if I could encapsulate that creative side, I probably would have more fun and so would people be attracted to work with me more.
I love that. And what have I outgrown?
I just think old habits and old ways of doing things. Time for a mindset shift.
Good for you. Excellent. All right. Well,
Right,
thanks everyone for sharing. A few things came up from all of you that I just want to address before we move on. A lot of you said you were losing energy when you had to multitask or you were switching tasks or doing things like that. Um, Time management in certain areas is really important for all of us. And I call it chunking, but like if I have 2 days, my Tuesdays and Thursdays are days that I'm taking calls for new people because that way I'm in the mindset of what I'm talking about. I also do like and I could do podcast interviews pretty much any day because I'm just talking. I only take people I already know on a Monday because on a Monday, I don't know, my brain just isn't functioning because I'm coming off of a weekend. I go to the gym in the morning, and my afternoon is really about reconnecting into business instead of like just jumping in. So I keep my Monday with people that I already know. It's very rarely if I don't know you that you'll get in on a Monday. So I chunk my times. Tuesdays and Thursdays are more of my sales days, new client days, my one-on-one days, and I do that. And I work long hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So my brain is in the same place. My Friday, I take no virtual meetings at all on a Friday. I start my day with yoga, and then I jump into things I call it my get shit done day. So I just do whatever didn't get done during the week, whatever's laxing, or if I told people I was going to get them stuff, or I need to make introductions for people, like all of that stuff that really takes time, but not a lot of brain power, right? But I have to get it done. I save that for my Friday. And I literally book things into my day. So it's time to think. Usually I do my writing on Monday mornings before I go to the gym, because that's when I'm clearest, right? And that's why I take breaks. But if you're tasking from one thing to the next, you're actually not being productive, right? Because your brain really can't switch. There's no such thing really as multitasking, right? Because your brain takes time to switch. And if you feel that your energy is not good on a day that you have scheduled something, just I say erase it and then replace it, put it another day, right? So if I get up and I have a lot of energy, this morning I woke up really super, super early and I was wide awake. So I'm like, okay, what am I doing? I was like, I got some writing to do. I got this to do. I took a walk. I made myself breakfast. That was all before 7:30. I got so much done. because I had the energy. But yesterday, because I was on this time zone slack from traveling, I couldn't get anything done. Like my brain just wasn't functioning. And I was like, okay, I don't get mad at it. I don't push through it. I just give myself grace. So time chunking is a really big one, because you'll be way more productive if you can keep your brain in a certain space. And others of you talked a lot about being salesy. What do I do on Wednesdays? I go to the gym in the morning. I start my day late. And Wednesdays is a calmer, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are very calm days for me. Wednesdays, I don't know. I do a lot of podcast stuff. Wednesday's a calmer day for me. It depends. What was I saying? Salesy. A lot of you talked about being salesy, or being in that space of I need to make a sale, I need money coming through, and then how are you showing up and finding clients when you feel like that's your lack, is clients. The advice that I have for that is you just be you, and you're not convincing people to work with you. Because if you have to convince people to work with you, they're not usually in alignment, right? I always say, if you want to work with me one-on-one, when you are a hell yes is when I'll have that conversation with you. Or I'll have conversations with you a lot. I'll follow up with you, see where you are. I'm never going to convince you or force convert you to work with me. Because when you're ready and you will show up and we'll clean the mess up, and you will be much more productive in getting to the other side. Like when people are ready to grow, ready to be the strategy, that's when it happens, right? If I had to convince you, chances are you're not going to put in the effort. So I always work with, if you're a hell yes, that's what I'll do it, right? And I can tell people what I do all the time without selling to them. So if you're feeling like you're selling, you're coming from a place of scarcity, because you feel like if I don't close this one, another one might not be coming, right? And you will be surprised when you come from a place of not being attached to the outcome of every conversation and just having an open-minded conversation, how much people connect with your energy and they're like, how do I work with you? Or can I have a conversation about that? It's a lot more open. So I would say, hey, I'll get on a call with anybody. I'm not convincing you, but I could always line out the best ways to work with each other if that's what you choose to. If not, that's okay too, right? All right. Any questions before we move on? Is that pretty clear? Is it getting clearer what alignment is and how it shows up in your business? How you're creating it around who you are? Because when you know these things, it's easier to create, right? If you don't want to work 5 days a week, don't. If you don't like video, don't do it. If you don't like Facebook, don't do it, right? It's that easy. What we've been taught, or what we hear all the time, is you got to do it this way, you got to do it this way, you got to do it this way. There is no pattern to how things have to be done. But when it's coming from a very real place, that is the easiest way to get things done, right? Success is not built from conditioning, which I think we've been conditioned to believe that things are a certain way. We build from this place of authenticity, right? It's not about the shoulds. Judy Kane said that, getting rid of the shoulds. There's no shoulds. Right? Getting rid of the comparison, getting rid of the old identities, family expectations, right? Or I think it was my second book. I think I started, the opening line was something like, should I just get a real job? Right? Because sometimes as an entrepreneur, you're in that mindset of what else can I do? What else can I do? Industry expectations, social media expectations, which I think is getting kind of crazy now. But I feel like there's so much noise out there that people are starting to shut down. And it's going to be what I always say, back to basics. It's the relationships that you create with others, not the selling. It's the relationships that you are creating with others. That's how things naturally happen, right? You don't have to keep everyone happy. Alignment is about what parts of your life, is your life too, right? Your life or your business exist because you chose them. And which parts exist because you inherited them or thought they are like a should. That's the way I should do it. Right? That's the knowing of the difference. And you can think about that at every point of your business. Did I do this because this is the way it's done, or I'm taught it should be done, or am I choosing just to do this a little differently? Right? And we can talk about this through career. There's lots of different sections of, I always say, your life audit. And it's great to rate them all on a 1 to 10, because I look at it as a circle, and like each piece is a piece of the pie. And if they're not all at the same number, say they should all be 5 or they should all be 7. It'd be great if they're all 10, but they're not going to be, right? Think of it as like a wheel going down the road, right? If they're not all kind of equal, and that's what we call work-life balance, it's not going to be a smooth ride, right? We talk about our career, our business, money, our relationships, our friendships, our health, our purpose, our creativity, our joy, right? How we rest and sleep at night, our contribution. Could be serving others. It could be your volunteer work, right? Those are all things to think about on a scale of 1 to 10 and say, what do I need to build now? Right? For me, I'm kind of thinking of how do I get to know people more in person, because I haven't really been doing that. We are starting it, up again, but I'm looking for like volunteer work or getting involved in the community more. My background was always not-for-profit work. Is there something that excites me? Something away from my business just to keep my mind flowing, right? That's what I feel like I'm lacking right now. Getting exercise back in. Like those are things that fill my cup as a person. And when I'm filled as a person, that translates into my business. Does that make sense? If you're not filled, and that's why I have on my calendar the days that I work out, right? The days that I go to the gym, the days that I do yoga, I have things in my calendar on purpose because they fill me up. And that to me is part of my business, filling me up, right? Taking time off, going on vacation, stepping away. I used to work 7 days a week. And then I have no computer Sundays. I do use my phone, but I'll never answer you. Like sometimes I read stuff, but I try not to ever go into my office on a Sunday because I do enjoy working, but I'll walk in there and I'll be like, oh, I'll just do this one thing or this one email, and I'll just keep working. So I have a rule that on Sundays, I do not open a computer for any reason at all, because as soon as it's open, I'll start working. And I'm trying to get Saturdays out. I go back and forth with Saturdays because Saturday mornings are kind of quiet for me because nothing's happening in business. So sometimes it's easier for me just to put in 2 or 3 hours and just get stuff off my plate, depending on if I did a Friday or not. All right. Any questions that are coming up for you that I didn't touch on?
I wanted to comment on, kind of everything you're talking about, even the exercise. And I found that I have to, or not that I have to, but I align with, and I have to make sure I don't get caught up in. There's a lot of like masculine entrepreneurship advice, and it's all these like checklists, and you have to do it this way, and push and drive, and
Yeah.
and I got involved a little bit. I had originally looked at starting a different kind of business, and was working with a man who was part of the Small Business Development Center. And it was a combination of like that male energy and also the old way of doing it. Like you can't do anything unless you've got all the pieces of the puzzle figured out and you know what your whole picture is and you've got all this stuff and then you start. And I'm like, well, I don't, first of all, I don't have time to wait like 2 years to get all of that done,
Yeah. So let me just say that business requires both masculine energy and feminine energy, right? You can't run a business on one and not the other, right? Because business does, it has, finance, it has structure, it has procedure. As you get bigger and bigger, things have to happen. So it does require masculine energy, but it also requires feminine energy, I think, in the spiritual world, right? When we talk about the soul professional, it's really dovetailing those two worlds, right? We're logical, we're spiritual, right? And it's recognizing what works for you, right? I don't do big business plans anymore. I mean, I have my own because my community is so big, but it's I'm a messy launcher. I kind of just launch things and fix them later because I've learned along the way that sometimes the way I designed them really doesn't work. So I might as well just launch messy, and I have the confidence to be able to do that, right? But
Yeah,
your
and kind of get
business,
the feedback as you go
yeah,
along.
right. But
Yeah.
in your case, when you're talking about, the SBA, which I love, and I used to do counseling work and business work for them for years
Mhm.
and years and years. And I really enjoyed it. And they sent all their holistic people to me. Um, you have to find in anyone in like if whoever you're working with, right? Even if you're
Yeah.
hiring a separate business coach or a CPA or a marketing, whatever it is, they have to understand your business, right? They have to understand who you are, or they're going to lead you in the wrong direction, right? So
Yeah,
part
and
of
they're
what we do
looking at it
here,
from their lens of
yeah,
what worked for them and in their type of
right,
business.
right.
Yeah.
And there's no 10 steps to 10K months because those same 10 steps will not work for everybody, right? That day is gone. People sold that for so long. It's not
Yeah.
happening anymore because now it's really about congruence, right? Or
Mhm.
coherence, I should say. Coherence is, does my body believe this? Are my subconscious beliefs aligned with where I'm going? Am I coming from the place of who I am becoming and not where I used to be? Right?
Mhm.
That's believing in yourself. So it's alignment and then coherence. And I think we've been stuck in the alignment place and teaching alignment for a long time. And now we're moving into coherence, which is a lot of the feminine energy, right? It's the collaboration too. It's working with others. There's no competition, right?
Yeah.
When you're selling, it used to be like, here's my business card. Here's my business card. Are you going to buy from me? Are you going to buy from me? I think those days are gone, right? And now we're looking for the human connection. We're looking for the long-term relationship, right? So you have to design it how it works for you, right? So it's not just your mindset, it's all of it coming together. Your mindset, who you hang out with, really, really important, right? That's part of
Mhm.
the soul professional community is we're hanging out with people that are just like us, right? So when you don't know, like, or how did you do that, you can just ask, right? But it's about knowing who your ideal clients are, right? It's you 2 years ago. That's your ideal client. It's
Mhm.
you, right? If something doesn't resonate with you, it's not going to resonate with your client, right? So I'm always like, what am I looking at? And I know I should get back on TikTok because I'm addicted to TikTok, right? So I'm like, of course I'll find clients there because I watch people there, right? I watch spiritual people there all the time building businesses. I'm fascinated by it. So I could also go there, right? It's about your offers. If you like doing one-on-one work, but you're doing group work, or you hate group work and you're doing one-on-one, like whatever it is, it's knowing what you like to do in your offers. I don't have year-long programs. You know why? I don't like doing them. I get bored, right? So if you work with me, I'll give you like 90-day packages, three-month packages. You can re-up after that if we're both in agreement, but I like to do it in shorter containers because I'd rather see that. Like I've done long containers and I don't like them. So I don't have them, right? I test things, they don't work. we put them back. And so I build offers around how I like it, right? I used to do by the session, and I really don't do that anymore because of this past year, people have been paying me by the month, and I see them 2 or 3 times in the month, but they have access to me. And I was like, this is so much nicer. I can deal with more clients. They have more general access to me, and when they need that one-on-one time, we can do that. It allows me to travel, allows them to do things. It just works better. And it's changed. My offers have changed over time. I've had masterminds. I don't have them anymore. I had a paid community. I don't have that anymore because I've grown from there. So your offers have to be in alignment. Your pricing has to be in alignment. If you're still priced like you were 10 years ago, there's probably a problem with that, right? Your pricing, your business model, your schedule, which we've talked about, having time for yourself, marketing. If you're having AI do all of your marketing, it's probably not doing you a lot of good. I think your words are really important, but if you're using words that your clients aren't using, that's not going to resonate with the right people. And a lot of times I'm reading posts now and I'm like, I didn't know she did that, or that's really interesting. And I read it and I'm like, they don't do that at all. And it's starting to sound, because AI is writing it, it's starting to sound all the same. Right? Visibility. How are you showing up in the world? Is it on social media? Is it on video? Is it on TikTok? Is it through email? What does your visibility look like? And what makes you comfortable, right? So if you hate video, you don't do video. If you like writing, for a long time, I have to get back to it. I was doing a lot of writing because that's how I actually think. And that was resonating with people. I've kind of slowed down. But this morning I was like, I got to start writing again. How you show up in community. It could be other people's community. It could be your own community. It could be as a leader. It could be as a follower. It could be as a teacher. There's different ways and roles for you to show up, and there's room for everybody. So that's your income. A lot of people throw out six figures, and that's a US thing. But if that doesn't work for you, then pick a number. Let's be you don't have to do what everyone else is doing, right? If people are saying I need 10K months, but you only need 2K months, that's okay, as long as you know what your goals are. You don't have to follow other people. Same with partnerships. It's who are you collaborating with? Do you need a partnership? I think the future is a lot of collaboration. So this particular year, I've been having conversations with a lot bigger communities and leaders around the world to see how can we do things more together. I'm trying to think what else. So the big question with alignment is, does your business require you to become someone you don't actually enjoy being? Because if it does, that is not in alignment. If you don't wake up every day just in absolute joy, then you're not in alignment. And sometimes it's just a tweak. Sometimes it's just one thing. And that's what the thing was for the questions earlier. It was, to find out where you're not in alignment. I'm looking through my notes really quick because I have so much more. I know we're running out of time here. All right, so I think I'll just wrap up by closing and just saying, think about one place where you might be out of alignment, like from those questions that we asked earlier, because if something was coming up for you, it's just, how do I tweak it so I'm back into alignment so it feels good, right? And sometimes you have to make courageous decisions if you've been avoiding something or not fixing something. But just think of one small step. That's it. One small step that can correct a certain part of it. If it's blocking out time to do the things that you hate, if it's hiring somebody to do the things you hate. It's like, I hate cutting grass. So guess what? Well, I used to hire people this year. I just didn't. I just let it grow. Let's see what happens. And by the way, grass grows way taller than I thought. It's really tall. I never saw that happening, but I'll fix it later. Just think of like one thing that you can do. You do not have to fix everything in one moment. Just think of one baby step. And I always say it's like if you want to run a marathon, right? Or I used to do triathlons. You have to take one baby step. Like the first thing I had to do was well, in that case, I had to buy a bike, right? I had to learn to ride a bike. I had to, right? If you're going to run a marathon, first you buy the sneakers, right? Maybe you walk around the block. You don't have to run right away, right? You just have to build up for that time. And even if it's your first marathon, most people do not run the whole 26 miles in training. I don't know how much you do run, but you don't run the whole thing if it's your first time, right? Because you'll be able to do it on game day. So don't worry about all of that. Just correct one thing that maybe puts you a little more in that direction. All right, I know we're out of time. Is there any questions or anything I can answer along the way? Anything that's coming up for you?
Super quick, and then I need to run, but I'm really glad to be with you today. Thank you so much. It was really great
Thanks.
to meet you. Alignment, congruence, authenticity. You wrote an essay recently about the three different things. Were those the three? What were the three? First, second, third?
Yeah, it was probably alignment, congruence, coherence.
Coherence. That was the third
Yeah.
one.
And the essay she's talking about is on LinkedIn. I do a newsletter there. You
Okay.
can also probably find it on our website. I put them on a
I'll go
blog.
back and look.
Yeah. If you can't find it, just let me know.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
You
Good
are
luck.
welcome. Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you. Thanks, Camille. Bye.
Right. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today and being a part of our masterclass. If there's any questions, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. You can also learn more about my personal work on soul, SOUL, professional.com. If you're not familiar with our community, everything we do is free. Come on over, network with us, do a healing circle, a program, and I do these master classes the fourth Thursday of every single month at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And you're welcome to join me live and ask your own questions. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope I'll see you in the community. Bye, everyone. Thank you.